of young arms that wanna hold you good and tight. I have your lips. Hollywood, in a sense, chose me because I had a series of incredible strokes of luck. I often wonder why the Lord gave me such an opportunity to audition for Elvis. There were so many of us in line that day. And I just can't believe that I got the part. I never felt I was leaving Hollywood. I never felt I was leaving anything that I was given. The Abbey was like a grace of God that just entered my life in a way that was totally unexpected. And God was the vehicle. He was the bigger Elvis. Hello, Tobe. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, Toby. Thank you. Would you give me another kiss? Give me another kiss. Thank you. Maybe if I turned this down, now that you seem to be in a little jollier mood, and played your own music, you'd feel a little better, huh? Well, I think, Toby, shall we get some work done this morning? Mm-hmm. I've got all of these letters that I have to answer. And this was a boy that came who was a complete, adorable fan of Elvis. And he brought me this picture, a personal gift. It makes me think I was a baby when it happened. I mean, dear Dolores Hart, I am a big fan of yours. I enjoyed watching you and Elvis. He was such a sweet, personable young man, loving you, and Where the Boys Are. You were both my favorite actors. I enjoyed all of your movies. What are you doing now?
I would like to see Mother Dolores.
Yes, you have an appointment, don't you?
Yes.
Hello, Robert.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Come in. Please, would you sit down?
Sure.
How can I help you?
I've been trying to find Angelina. Angelina was a widow. She loved me like a mother. I mean, more than a mother. And just break down. I haven't found her.
You will. I will keep that very much in my heart.
Thank you very much, Mother Dolores. Say a prayer for me.
I do.
For Angelina.
I do. I think people come to speak to us about every possible form of suffering that hits the human heart. My role is to help a person to discover you can always find hope. And if you can find hope, you might find faith. My early life was probably the most unstable factor in the world, and that, I think, was perhaps the first inkling of being a Benedictine, because the stability factor had to come within me. When I was born, my mother and my father had absolutely no way to handle me because they were teenagers, 17 and 18. And this was a tragedy to my grandmother. She wanted to have me aborted. I had that kind of relationship with God that I think most young kids have. Faith was going to heal everything. Right now, it was going to work. I prayed that I would become an actress, and I knew God was on my side. When I was in Hollywood, I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning, whether I was working or not, to go to daily mass and to go to communion. Did I pray to get the part of loving you? You bet you're sweet, I did. Every role I got, I prayed for. When I first came to the Abbey, I was on Broadway doing Pleasure of His Company. A friend of mine suggested I come up to the Abbey because I was having fatigue after 9 months in the show. And she said, well, I know this place in the country. They're very easygoing nuns. Just go for a few days and rest. And I said, nuns? I don't want to go any place where there's nuns. And she said, oh, don't be so stiff. Just try it. They're contemplative, and they won't talk. So I came, and I really loved it. It just felt peaceful. I knew I was myself. I could find my own inner certitude. I met the Reverend Mother, and the concern that I had was that it was wrong as a Catholic to be in the movies, because sexually you could be aroused by boys, and you could get involved sexually with men. And my leading star was Elvis. She said, well, why not? You're a girl. Chastity doesn't mean that you don't appreciate what God created. Chastity says, use it well. I came away with a sense of peace, a sense of interior renewal. And I said, I'll come back. I said, I'll come back. My life in Hollywood was really going at an amazing level. Al Wallace, he had a beautiful part with Marlon Brando. Warren Beatty was another one. He also wanted to open my contract with MGM and 20th Century Fox. That would have made me worth at least $1 million. But I think the thing that bothered me was that in the back of my mind, I was thinking about going back to Regina Laudis. What I loved about cloistered life was the capacity that it offered for true communion with God. And eternal love is the mystery that I found here.
Monos quo tibi Domine nostre servitutis offerimus, tu salutare nobis perficiar sacramentum.
For me, prayer is holding a constant openness in my heart that God exists.
Christum Dominum nostrum.
I'm called to a spousal commitment with Jesus, yes, absolutely. And that's what the vows are about. And that's what living in community is about. My prayer is that he stays with me, which is kind of a funny prayer because he is going to stay with me. It's like, can I stay with you, you know?
Someone described a monastery as a powerhouse of prayer. We're God's representatives on earth. We're carrying a lot for people. And you make a decision here to surrender your life, really, to God.
Corpus et sanguis Christi.
Amen, Father.
Corpus et sanguis Christi.
Many of us had relationships, certainly had boyfriends, but there was something else that was not meeting this call to a spouse that was not intense enough.
I did think my life would progress along the normal tracks of meeting someone, marrying, having children. But that's not the path that God has led me. Well, I had a very corporate life, and I worked in politics and then advertising. I feel like I tried most things in life that are supposed to make you happy. That journey took me down into alcoholism and drug addiction. I had that moment of grace to find the program of AA. People are surprised to see a nun at a meeting. I still rely on AA for my sobriety. You know, this place doesn't solve my problems magically. I mean, it's amazing that we do have this idea that there's a group of people called nuns who are floating around happily, because why would that be so? We're just human beings, as you say.
Yes, Barbara.
I remember having to tell my mother, I'm going to join the Abbey, and she said, yes, I can see that this world has no real meaning for you anymore. I looked at this place and saw women who had what I wanted.
Sister John Mary.
This is the only place I could see myself being, because this is where it's at.
On the first couple of times I came to the Abbey, I said to the Reverend Mother, do you think that I might ever have a vocation here? She said, no. Dolores, don't be silly. Go back and do your movie thing. You're too young, and this wouldn't be the thing for you. I was so happy. I fled. I said, oh, good. Why'd I ever bring it up? When I was in Hollywood, I did become engaged to marry Don Robinson. I was in love with Don.
From the moment I met her, I knew that you could relax with her and have fun with her. On our first date, we had dinner for 3 hours. And at the end of our dinner, I asked her to marry me. She said, would you give me some time and let's just date? I said, I'll give you all the time you want. She happened to be a Catholic and I happened to be a Catholic. I knew in my heart, I could feel it. It was all there, what I was looking for. We dated on and off for 5 years and became engaged.
I said, well, Don, let's not make any big deal of it and try to keep it quiet. Well, within 3 weeks, Edith Head was starting the dress. Invitations were made. Don was an architect, so he had already begun working on a house. I think the thing that bothered me was I had not resolved the thought of religious life. My intention of entering the monastery and marrying Don were running neck and neck. It was a terrifying time. It was a terrifying time.
One night we went to an engagement party for the two of us. And I could feel in my heart there was something wrong. I told her that she was distant, something was up. It's a knockout blow, what I'm going to tell you. She had received a letter from the Abbey Regina Laudis stating that if you're still interested in entering the order, this is the time to do it. I said to her, Dolores, are you telling me you're going to go to the Abbey to become a nun? And she said, yes, I am. Well, I totally collapsed. I felt in Catholicism, when you give yourself to a person, that's a contract commitment. Then an outside force comes in and breaks it all up. Every part of my love for her was destroyed in a matter of seconds.
It was just impossible to explain. How do you explain God? How do you explain love?
When Mother Prioris came in as an actress, she was considered a lightweight. I talked to her, but it was kind of with this haughty, because I was in my vows. Who would have thought the actress is going to stay? I mean, really.
I had the feeling when I entered cloistered life that I would somehow meet the Lord and it was going to be a consummation of some kind. I don't know where my mind was, except I was in love with God. The first night, I felt like I had jumped off a 20-story building and landed flat on my butt. I had no idea that it was going to mean singing 7 times a day, working in the garden, 10 people in 1 bathroom. The sternness.
We had one of these horrible meetings. They were horrible because there was a real strict separation between novitiate and community. You didn't talk to anybody. They didn't talk to you. Oh, it was terrible. It was very hard. and very lonely. So Mother Prioress must have said, hey, this is not working. And one of the nuns was knitting. She walks over to her, she grabs the knitting, she throws it on the floor, and I don't know, she may have said a few little words that were not normally heard around the Abbey. I was sitting there, oh my gosh. I'm sure I would have loved to have done the same thing, but I didn't have the gift, you know.
A monastic life, this is where the struggle is. There's no way out. You don't get to leave and go to a movie, or you don't get distraction from all the human emotions. It's like this hothouse where things get worked out. Mother Prioress describes it as being skinned alive.
I've been here 10 years. I always tell people it was 20 times harder than I could have possibly imagined. It's like trying to imagine another dimension. You can't because you haven't lived there. I wasn't prepared for being in relationship to everybody all the time. That's my llama, Giselle the Wonder Llama. Mother Prioress decided that we needed a llama and that I needed to be her caregiver, which, you know, how she figured that out, I have no idea, because I never ever expressed interest in a llama. Every time I thought of leaving while I was a novice, it's like, I can't leave, I have to take care of Giselle. Or how am I gonna leave with a llama? So Mother Prioress definitely knew what she was doing. It was like...
Benedicite, Mother. It's Sister Judith.
Gracias.
May I speak with you about a few things?
Okay.
Yes, I'm asking your advice. It's so hard. I know you know this. Oh, Mother, I am so impatient. I can't stand how things are right now, you know? I can't stand it. I'm serious. I'm still learning the contemplative piece of our life.
Why did you come to the monastery?
I said I was looking for a home for my heart. I was in just a state of immense longing for Christ.
When you started, you were really in trouble, and you've come a long way. I wouldn't say that in order to make you go through the process to become a nun. We don't need clients. It's going to take time, and you have to trust that your heart grows and can take on the work of becoming a person of Christ in this monastery.
It's so hard sometimes to know, to see it. It's so dark. I need help to see it.
Good night.
Good night, Mother.
I always carried a mission when I was younger, that God had given me a purpose for what I was doing. I felt I was supposed to be here for something beyond just the aggravation of it.
I think Mother Prioress saw in me a friend at some point. And it was hard for her in terms of, could she stay? Could she do it? I would try to encourage her. We understood. We were trying to get to the same place, you know? And we knew the community needed something.
I first came in 69, 70, and I was only 18. I was a freshman in college. No, I did not want to be a nun. That way I came to the Abbey. It just was a very hopeful place to us.
I wanted to work for peace. I wanted social justice. I wanted community. I wanted to give more to the planet than I was taking.
Many of us saw Mother Dolores and Mother Abbess. We sensed in them liberated women who had found a love in their lives that we were searching for.
Mother Prioress, she used to meet with us. It was a whole group of young people who came here. She used to get up in these meetings. People would be crying or having these big revelations. She had this sense that she belonged there, that she knew what she was doing was very important.
We were learning how to have healthy relationships. Some of us discovered we had religious vocations.
I knew that I felt called here. I wanted to give myself over to the monastic life. And that's symbolized by the cutting of your hair. If I thought I could have been happy being married or having a career in something else, I would have been really happy to have done that. But I knew deep down that it wasn't going to meet what I was looking for. I think the first thing that you realize is that sexuality isn't limited in the way that we think of it.
We are very sexual women here at the Abbey. Our sexuality is not denied us in any way. People automatically are wondering, what does she mean by that? She's a nun. It's getting beyond the very narrow dimension of sex that's the physical, genital-based sex. To sing is a physical act. I get a great amount of pleasure, and I want to give pleasure to other people. My voice goes out, my acolyte partner's voice goes out, and they blend together. It's really an act of physical union, and it transcends into something that is much higher and deeper.
I never got over Dolores. I had the same thoughts today as I did 52 years ago. Because if it was my doing, I'd be married to her today. Eventually, I understood why she came here. I don't think that Dolores' vocation was to be a mother and a wife. She co-starred with people like Montgomery Clift, Robert Ryan, Myrna Loy, Anna Mignani. But I think she found out that was not her security. The Abbey was her security. She wanted to be married to God.
Can you take off your glasses a minute?
Why?
Just so I can see you.
I don't. I squint. You didn't take that picture, did you? Let me see that picture. I dated many women after Dolores. Not right away. It took a while. But I never found the love like Dolores. It's now a way of life that she's in the Abbey, and I love her. I've come to the Abbey for 47 years. I think that says something. Well, have a good day.
And you.
Take care of yourself.
You too. God bless you.
Oh, you too.
Yes.
I think about you all the time, you know that.
I know.
Okay.
And you call me.
Oh, yeah.
Please let me know.
I'll call you Wednesday for sure.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care of yourself.
Yes.
Love you.
I love you too.
Bye.